YouTube. Today I'm gonna actually be teaching you guys how to make a game in Unity, an FPS game in Unity. Uh, First off, you need the game engine. So what you can do, you can go to Unity3D.com and you can download it for free. The free version. You can, if you want the pro version, you have to buy it. As well as Unity 5 if you want that. But the free version is available, 4.63. That's the latest version at the moment, so you can download that and install it to your system. And when you install it and you open it up for the first time, it should look something like this. Now what you can do is actually create a new project, because open project didn't want to have anything here. This is just my projects I've been working on. And then you could just create a new project. Ensure that everything here is unclicked. Alright? Uncheck. So leave this at 3D and just hit create. I already did that already. So when you get into Unity, when it opens up, it's gonna look like this. It's not gonna have anything in the project panel. So just keep that in mind. Now I already made some importations already. I imported some assets in here, so we're gonna have to go ahead and do the same. Now basically what we're gonna do, we're gonna actually go here to assets and then import packages, and we're gonna go and import character controller. And after you import the character controller, you go back right here, repeat the process, and you're going to actually go and import the skyboxes. After the skyboxes, do the same thing again and then import the terrain assets. Everything will be located in the project panel in the standard assets. As you can see, character controller, skybox, terrain. Now what we're going to do is we're going to actually find this main camera. Alright, we're going to actually create a terrain. In order to create a terrain, you're going to just right click and go down to 3D objects. Then we're gonna actually see terrain here. Just click on terrain. Now note this here that when you import a terrain into your scene, it's usually big, as you can see. This is 2000 by 2000, so length and width is 2000. So we're gonna just put this at 200. Yeah, it's much better for a basic scene. Now, once we've done that, please bear with me for the background. I'm close to the road, so a lot of traffic these days. Anyways, the scene is a bit dark. You can't see the terrain really. You just see some like a shadow. So we're gonna actually put a light in there. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna right click again. We'll go down to lights and we'll just import a directional light into the scene. Now, as you can see now, just pull this out of the way. Just click here and then pull out. As you can see, the terrain is white. It has no texture. That's why it's white. Once an object has no material, it's going to actually takes on a pink color. But this here is the terrain, and the terrain has no texture, so it's basically white. Just as if I imported a cube into the scene, the basic it's going to come with is white. So yes, we're going to add textures now to the terrain, make it look a little lively, you know. So we're going to go to this brush icon here. Then we're going to select edit textures, art textures. Then we're going to select a texture that we've imported. That's basically comes with the standard assets. So what we're going to do, let's just import this grass here. And as you can see there, voila, terrain has grass. This is basics of Unity. So I'm going to just run through this quickly. The details now, these are the details. You can make your terrain come around like this. Now, ensure that this in particular, this scales up anything without an amount. This one actually, you can set it at, let's say 5. Now the terrain height is at 0, so if we set it to 5, that's what's gonna happen. It's gonna come up by 5 there. That's what that brush do. It flattens anything by the amount that you put here. Alright, if you want the entire terrain to be flattened, all you could do is just select flatten and it'll just flatten everything. Alright then, so we're gonna just do a little detail on the terrain, you know, some good stuff, you know, some mountains along somewhere, yeah, some good stuff. This is just for tutorial purposes, so it's not gonna look that good. I'm just doing this because of the, tutorial. Anyways, now there's gonna be a side of a problem, because if you play the game, you're gonna notice that we can't really move around, and I'm gonna tell you why. Please bear with me, I'm using a low-end PC here. It's, as you can see, my CPU usage is at maximum right now. Yeah, that's how I have to roll. Anyways, as you can see, we can't move around if we press up, side, whatever. Any keys, we can't move around. Now I'll tell you why. Now this here, the reason for this is basically because we don't have the character controller in the scene. We just have the main camera, and the main camera has no form of script to actually move around. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna just import the character controller to the scene, first person controller. Good. Now ensure that you do this. This is very important. When you focus in on the actual object, you can press F to focus in on anything. Now you can see that the character controller is inside of the scene, the terrain. So what we need to do, we just need to lift this guy out of it. Because if we leave him there, and we hit play, let me just show you what's going to happen if you just leave him in there, and you just hit the play button. What's going to basically happen? It's basically foolish, but I don't know, some persons are of the sort. This is what's gonna happen. Come on, stop being like Stevie Wonder. Alright then, I guess he's not in the actual terrain. Hold on a second. Um, just bear with me. I think I know why that happened. I actually increased the size of the terrain. I flattened it by 5. So when I actually hit play, the character controller didn't fall through the terrain. That's what I'm trying to show you right now. Yes, as you can see that he just falls into oblivion. He just keeps falling and falling and falling, and there's nothing you do about it. So once you drag the character controller into your scene, just ensure that it's not in the terrain, because if it's in the terrain, you're gonna have a bit of a problem. This guy's just gonna keep falling and falling endlessly. Alright, cool. So if we walk around now in the scene, we should have any sort of problem whatsoever. The guy should just walk around, and everything should look and operate just fine. Yeah, yeah, as you can see, he's walking around. Everything is moving pretty good. Yeah, that's basically the basics of importing assets, as well as details to terrain, and as well, you can actually make your terrain however you want it to be made. You can add more textures if you want, color, whatever you want to color on the terrain. Let me just show you how you do that. You just do the same method again. Go to the brush icon, edit texture, add texture. Now you're gonna just select the just select that one. Yeah. Now note, if you go here and you edit texture and you click edit texture, you add a texture, it's going to replace this one. Just so ensure that you go and you add texture and not edit. So basically that's it. We're on to the next brush. You can see now the next texture. So you can see here it's texturing a terrain with a different texture. I'm just making the mountains a bit, detail. Yeah, that's basically it for me. Alright then, so what I'm going to do now, one last thing, I'm going to actually show you guys how to make a skybox. Now you just go to edit here, go to render settings, and you'll come up with render settings here. Now what we're going to do, we're going to go back into the project view, we're going to click on skyboxes, click here. And don't click on Skybox because the render settings is gonna magically disappear. So just click on this triangle here, open up that. So just go back, edit, render settings, and good. Now the fog is basically, as you can see in the game view, we have the fog enabled. Now I'm just going to increase this a little bit, so that's about it. You can see the fog in the scene, you know. I'm going to show you a little bit in depth just now. So what we're going to do now, we're going to just add a skybox here. So what you're going to do, just take one of these materials and just drag it here. And you can see at the bottom of the game view, things start to change. The sky looks a little bit realistic. Let's put a sunny kind of sky texture. Good, that's more like it. Sky material, that looks good. So when we play the game now, we have the fog enabled as well as the skybox as well. So when we play the game, it turns out pretty okay. Any minute now. That's about it. Yeah, good stuff. Yeah, you can see in the distance there's a bit of a little fog around, you know. You walk to it, obviously you can't catch the fog. So that's basically that. Yeah. And you have the sky, realistic a bit, you know, the sun there, and clouds and you know, stuff like that. Yeah, that's basically it. One other thing, I'm just show you how to import a tree into your scene, or trees if you want to. It all depends on you. Now what we're gonna do, we're gonna click on the terrain, and then we're gonna go to this icon after the brush. We're gonna go to edit trees, add trees. And what we're gonna do, we're gonna add a tree. We're gonna click on this kind of icon here, and when the terrain assets, they come with a plum tree. So yeah. Now note, if I click one time, a lot of trees are going to be around. Now if you want the trees to pop up one by one, you know what you can do, you can just set the brush size to 1, not 4, 1, 1, 1, and 1 tree at a time. So the brush size basically deals with the amount of trees you want. Let me put this to 2. No, sorry about that. The brush size basically deals with the uh, range as to how far, you know, you want the trees to be. So once I click here, trees are gonna pop up in this blue here. So if we put this to about 45, that's the amount of trees gonna come up. You can play around with these other settings here, you know, and just tweak it up however you want to tweak it, you know. Yeah, that's some good stuff. Yeah, we got a little bit of a jungle there. No problem. If you want to remove some trees, what you can do is hold down shift and just select the left click. Yeah, you should be removing some trees from your scene. It's basically that simple. Nothing too advanced, you know, just some basics. So yeah, that's basically it for this tutorial. Now in the other tutorials in this series, I'm going to basically be showing you guys how to go about with the scripting, adding audios, using scripts, and without using scripts, as well as, you know, character movement, you know, gun movement, putting a hand in the game so that once you're walking around, you can see your hand and so forth, stuff like that, you know. And some other stuff, we're going to add some 3D models, make the scene look a bit more realistic because it just has a little bit of a mountains and trees, some textures and a skybox. So yeah, in the other tutorials, I'm going to just show you guys how to go about making something easy and very quickly. You know, you can make a video game if you want to. So yeah, that's basically it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and do appreciate it. So you can just like, comment, subscribe. Cheers.